The Akashic Records are weird. An Akashic Record reading is a very weird thing. Even in the spiritual world, I still think it's pretty weird. So what we do, what the Akashic Records are, so they're defined as a dimension of consciousness that exists below where we are. So when I connect to it, I feel like it's above us. And when I connect to spirit guides, it's kind of like they're around me, close to me, but the records are somewhere in the universe, okay? So let's just say, for the sake of the explanation, that there's somewhere in the universe that we don't know, that we can travel to, like I can travel to, and then I can see with your permission, and then I see what is going on in your energy. So I read here in this place, and there's records of your soul through history. And so there's records of your soul in this life, there's records of your soul in your past lives, and there's future possibilities of this life too. So anything you've ever thought about, anything you've dreamt about, anything that is relevant, any ancestral patterns, anything that you've been carrying on from your childhood, any past lives, all of that we can see in the Akashic Records. It's just so fun, I love it. So in an Akashic Records reading, what I do is I say a prayer, I connect to, which is Linda Howe, and I'm certified by Linda Howe, who wrote the book, How to Read the Akashic Records. And in this book, I did the certificate, but in her book, she also talks a lot about what the Akashic Records are if you want to know more. But in the session, what I do is I say this prayer that Linda Howe channeled, and I enter and suddenly appear in your Akashic Records. And your Akashic Records have all this information about your life. Sometimes I will see, all the records are different. So sometimes they're like well decorated, sometimes they're a forest, sometimes I won't even see what there is. And in our records, there's masters, teachers, and loved ones. And this is like your spirit team. Imagine having like a whole team that can help you, that can support you, that's been with you throughout your whole life. And all they want to do is connect with you and tell you what they want to help you with, how they can help you, and give you all the answers that you're looking for. So what I do in the Akashic Records, I'll say the prayer, and usually I'll meet someone. So it could be a master, teacher, loved one. Sometimes they just show up as a group, but sometimes there will be someone specifically. So let's just say, so there's three types of people in the Akashic Records, right? So there's the masters, who have never been human, so I like to call them gods or something, and I connect to them, and they have been with you through your life and through your soul's life, and since they haven't been human, sometimes they're very blunt about their answers, and sometimes they just have like really general random messages. So they will say they say a lot of things, but they will say things like let it go, trust, or like very generic things, and we're just like, we're human, I just need to know how to pay my bills, So that's the masters. Then there's the teachers, who I find they're the ones that show up the most with the third one. But the teachers are very good for whatever you're dealing with through life. So recently, for example, I'll give my own example. I have a very hard time with not working. Since I'm an entrepreneur and I love what I do, all my books are about this. All the podcasts, all I see all day has to do with this work. So what I've been struggling with is letting go and just turning off the switch at 6 p.m., making it seem like I'm leaving, and I'm disconnecting totally from my work, which is very difficult for me. So I've been dealing with that, and I went into my records, and there's a teacher, and I asked her, what she's teaching me, and she says she's teaching me to let go. And you will find things like this. So they may be teaching you how to take more action in your life, how to stop being a victim, how to get to the next level, how to lose weight. They can just like teach you anything. So you might get a teacher for any different circumstance, that any problem that you're dealing with at the moment. And then the third one, and it's something I haven't told recently, and this is why I'm doing it. This is the second video I make doing this explanation, but is loved ones. So loved ones are people that you might have known in this life that passed away, or they are from other lives, ancestors and all that. They're just from your family line, or your family in past lives, which can be the same. It's a very vast subject. But so loved ones is really interesting, because lately I've been connecting to a lot of loved ones in the records. So your loved ones will tune in to you when they have a message, they want to help. So they won't tune in to say, well, you know, my life, whatever, I feel like my blah blah blah. No, they're here to talk about, when they're in the records, they're here to talk about what you need to move on with your life, what it's gonna happen, like what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. So that will happen when there's somebody close to you that passed away. They're probably going to be in your records. They might not be, but that doesn't mean they're not all right. That's a longer subject. I'll do another video about that. But anyway, the third one, so is the loved ones. And loved ones are really fun to talk to, of course, because they're people that you might have known in life, and they want to communicate whatever they need to communicate. So that's really fun. And sometimes they do communicate about them, but they're mostly here for you. And that's it. So that's what we do in Akashic Records. I go into this place and then you ask questions. So the most important thing about the Akashic Records is that you ask questions, and ask good questions. So I have another video about this that I will be posting, and where I give you an idea of the questions you can ask in the records. And I find that sometimes, for example, somebody's going to ask me about a relationship, and I don't know yet because I don't know what they wrote down before in their questions. So I might close my eyes and I'm like, I see that you want to talk about your boyfriend. Let's start there. And then it's just so funny how this happens, because I tune into that, and then that will turn into something that hurt you from your boyfriend. That is the same thing that hurt you about your mother, which was the next question you had. And then this thing is carrying on into your work, which is another question you have. So they kind of like lay it out for me in a way that will transition from topic to topic. And I think that's just amazing. So that's what we do in an Akashic Records reading. You can see more, read more. There's a lot of information about this on the internet. Just make sure you watch my video about the questions you can ask in the records before doing a session, because I think that's really helpful too. Thank you.